Welcome again. One of my favourite authors, commentators, lecturers in the States is a fellow called Richard Rohr. He's a Franciscan and has a Centre for Action and Contemplation in Albuquerque. And a little while back he made a statement that caught my attention. And it was a statement that I think has been confirmed in today's text. The statement was really that Christianity is still in its infancy. That we are not living a very developed form of Christianity. And in today's text, Jesus says, "Don't think I have come to abolish the law and the prophets, but rather to bring them to completion. And they will stand until their purpose is achieved." And I believe their purpose is achieved when Jesus is raised from the dead. Jesus, and in him humanity, is raised to new life, the fullness of life, and what we experience here as the kingdom, the reign, the plan of God. And why I say that is because in the Sermon on the Mount, which we've been going through recently, is Jesus presents the Beatitudes. And I believe that the Old Testament law and prophets, as we've seen already, is designed to enable a people coming out of a culture of slavery, in other words, a culture of fear, of bowed obedience, to crossing the desert to freedom, to their own land. And the transition, psychologically, socially, religiously, was enormous. And the law and the prophets was to help them for that. And while they were there, to prepare them to recognize and receive the Messiah, receive the new plan of God, the new life, the new community. And for this, Jesus gave them the Beatitudes. And it's interesting that if you look at the commandments say, "You shall not." Whereas the Beatitudes say, "Happy are you." A totally different mood or feel. And it's really rich. And I don't think we've grasped it yet. Because we can still try living Christianity in a mode of fear rather than one of love. Jesus came to free us, to set us free, to reconcile us to one another, to ourselves, and of course, to God. And it's in that era that we are living now. Because Jesus also says, "You have heard it said," referring to the Old Testament laws and prophets, "but I say to you," this is a new era. You have heard it said, and in the Sermon on the Mount there are several times when Jesus says that, and then gives a teaching which is way beyond the commandment. It's a development of the commandment, and it's a development in freedom and in truth and in love. And that's really what has caught my attention today. That Christianity is still in a long, slow process of living the kingdom of God, of living this fraternity, of living this freedom, of living this love that Jesus inaugurated when he was raised from the dead. He preached it, he revealed it in his life and his mission, but it was achieved when he was raised from the dead. And with him, all of us. We're still growing in a process of coming to grasp that and of coming to live that. And boy, how beautiful that would be if our world today could come to appreciate and grasp that we're not living in an age of fear, we're living in an age of love. We're not living in an age of hatred and war, but in an age of love and peace. So that's my prayer this week, that we come to be real Christians, that we come to follow Jesus. He never asked us to adore him, but to follow him. And that's the invitation. Okay? Well, have a great week again, and we'll see you next week. God bless.